Hello, my name is Seth Larhausen. Today I'm going to be talking about bilingual education and how it's important to be in our schools. I know a lot about this topic because my cousin, who is actually in a bilingual education class, has been in one since kindergarten. He is now 7 years old and is able to speak two languages, Spanish and English, which is pretty cool. There are three main things I'm going to talk about today. First off is how bilingual education helps English learners with new academic skills. Second, I'm going to talk about how immigrants can keep or even improve their own native languages by taking bilingual education. And then thirdly, I'm going to talk about how mainstream students can benefit from taking bilingual education classes now and in the future. So to begin with, let's talk about English learners and how they learn new academic skills. It's a whole process which takes about 1 to 6 years. And there's many ways to do this. What I suggest and what I've learned is to start them out young. So start them in a bilingual education class in kindergarten with peers of their own age and work their way up. And by the time they get into junior high, high school, and college, and then onto their career, they'll be ready for the real world. According to the United States Department of Education, students perform better knowing two languages, their native language and English, which is pretty cool to think about. Secondly, it'll help the immigrants keep or improve their languages. All students should get a fair opportunity when they're out there, but that's not always the case. The National Association of Bilingual Education, the NABE, states English-only classes, or what they call sink or swim method, is unfair. Because of this, immigrant students are unable to stay in the same grade. They're unable to drop a grade or even more. But it's not because they're not smart. No, they're very smart. The thing is, they don't understand what the teacher's saying. And when they don't understand what the teacher's saying, they get lost. And what happens is, as they get lost, they drop out of school, they join gangs, become gang-related, they do drugs. This will impact them negatively and impact their whole life and the society around them. It's really important, to help them out as much as possible and get these bilingual education classes going. And lastly, I'm going to talk about is how mainstream students can benefit from being in a bilingual education class. If you look at today's global market, bilingual is highly valued. So what I mean by that, knowing two languages, you'll be better off. For example, say there's I know two languages, and I'm applying for a job that I meet all the minimum requirements, but I have two languages, Spanish and English. And there's another person that has all the minimum requirements for the job also, but only knows one language. And our backgrounds are both pretty even. Who do you think that employer is going to go with? Someone that knows two languages or someone that knows only one language? Overall, you gotta say they're gonna go with the person that knows two languages. If I have an example here, if you look at a James Crawford book, it's called Hold Your Tongue. He states bilingualism is as American as apple pie, and has been ever since the nation's beginnings. What I got from this is what brought people of the nation together. It wasn't race, it wasn't culture or religion. It was a desire of liberty and equality, which is really cool. So to conclude and to finish up for you, I talked about first was how bilingual education teaches English learners new academic skills and it helps them out. Secondly was how immigrants can improve and even keep their native languages by taking bilingual education classes and get them in there with English speakers. And lastly, I also talked about how mainstream students can benefit from being in a bilingual education class and how it helps them with their futures. Before I let you go today, I want you to think about something. In the United States, we welcomed immigrants with promise of opportunity, equality, freedom, and better life. And bilingual education is the best way to fulfill that promise. Overall, I hope you enjoyed my speech, but I hope you go out there and learn a little bit more about this. And, if you have hookups and are able to explain why bilingual education is important to, your local school, let them know. Let them hear you. Again, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.